Ash Ketchum, the 10-year-old with over 25 years experience in Pokemon battling. It took a long time for Ash to become a Pokemon champion, but could he have done it any sooner? In this video, I'm going to find out. I will be attempting a Hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Yellow. I will have two clear objectives. Become the Pokemon champion using the only Pokemon Ash has caught in the anime, and number 2, catch as many of Ash's Pokemon as I possibly can. This also means I cannot evolve Pokemon like Bulbasaur or Squirtle, as Ash doesn't evolve his either. Now this video is hopefully going to be part of a series as I go through each generation and try and make Ash the ultimate Pokemon champion, so be sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more of those challenges. As this is a Hardcore Nuzlocke, I won't be able to use any items in battle. If a Pokemon faints, it has to be permaboxed, and I can only catch Pokemon that Ash has caught in the anime. Now usually I would catch one Pokemon per route, but as I have a specific list of Pokemon I'm hunting, this won't apply for these videos. We start off by naming our character Ash, and our rival is obviously called Gary. We start off our adventure the same way all adventures start, by trying to run away from home. But Professor Oak stops us and takes me to his lab. After inviting me to touch his ball, his grandson pushes me out of the way and grabs it first. So Oak gives me the Pikachu he just caught instead. I nickname the Pikachu Titan. By the way, all of the nicknames I give my Pokemon in this video follow a theme. My challenge to you guys is to guess what that theme is and let me know in the comments section below. But now it's time for my first fight with Gary. A few Thunder Shocks and a bit of luck with paralysis later, we are free to set off and begin our Pokemon journey. Our first stop is to buy some Pokeballs at the Pokemart so we can add more Pokemon to the team. Then, after watching some old guy fail to catch a rat, we make our way to Viridian Forest. In Viridian Forest is where we meet our first Pokemon we can add to our team. We first find a Caterpie, which we catch, and we name Rhea. After a few battles, Rhea evolves into a Metapod. With Metapod secured, it was time to go back and face Gary for the second time. Spearow goes down with 2 Swift Thunder Shocks, and then it's time for Eevee. After 2 Thunder Shocks, I switch to Rhea to help with that XP grind, and then smack Eevee with a few tackles. Then I finish off Eevee with a final Thunder Shock from Titan. Shortly after the battle, Rhea evolved into Butterfree. Then our hunt for our third team member began. And after what felt like an eternity, I finally found what I was looking for. A Pidgeotto. With only a 5% spawn rate, I had to catch this one or take another 3 hours hunting for it. Luckily, we were successful. I named this glorious bird Atlas, and with that third capture, it meant we could finally take on the first gym. Brock was our first real test in this run. With no Pokemon able to do super effective damage to Brock's rock types, it was down to Rhea to just spam confusion. Geodude goes down after 3 attacks, and Onix doesn't fare much better. Also, notice how Onix is spelt with an I, not a Y as well. Now that Brock was beaten, it was time to make our way through Mount Moon! As we reached the end, Team Rocket appeared and wanted to take my fossil that I was never going to use anyway. But refusing to be beaten by Jesse and James, Rhea takes down Ekans and Meowth with confusion, and then I switch to Titan to take down Coughing. Coughing does manage to make Titan poisoned, and with no potions or antidotes, things are looking grim for the Pokemon mascot. It becomes a race to Cerulean City before the poison wipes Titan off the team for good. And I make it just in time with Titan only having 2 HP remaining. After healing up my Pokemon, it was time to fight Gary yet again. I led with Rhea, which was a mistake, and I swapped for Titan to take down Spearow. After Sandshrew comes out, I switch back to Rhea to take down the Shrew in 2 confusions. Gary then sends out his Rat, who does a lot of damage with its Hyper Fang and quick attacks, which makes me switch to my third Pokemon, Atlas. Now with my other 2 Pokemon weak, it means Atlas has to clutch up this fight. A Gust and a Quick Attack takes down the Rattata, leaving only Eevee to beat. Eevee lands a big tackle, but because Gary isn't the smartest, spams Tail Whip, which gives me the opening to beat him once again. After sending Gary packing again, we heal up and go and claim our 4th member of the team. We speak to a woman looking to get rid of her Bulbasaur, and we happily oblige. We name the Saur Hyperion and slot him straight into the team. Now because Ash never evolves his Bulbasaur in the anime, I won't be evolving mine in my playthrough either. With Bulbasaur on our team, we can confidently take down Misty. First up is Staryu, which Hyperion swiftly takes out with 2 Vine Whips. Misty then sends out her ace Starmie, and uses the great tactic of not attacking.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Her strategy doesn't work, and Hyperion takes out Misty's ace, which means we have our second badge, the Cascade badge. After beating Misty, we get a Charmander from a man who hasn't raised it well, and we claim it as our own and name it Prometheus. A few battles later, and Prometheus has evolved into a Charmeleon. Then, after helping a guy get stuck in his cosplay costume, he gives us the SS Anne ticket as a thank you. We make our way through Vermilion and board the SS Anne, and it's a quick trip to battle Gary again. Titan takes out Spearow and Rattata with 2 Thunder Shocks each, and then when Sandshrew makes an appearance, I switch to Hyperion. Hyperion tanks the oncoming slash and uses Vine Whip to one-shot Sandshrew. Eevee gets first hit with Tackle and I land the Leech Seed. I miss a few attacks due to Eevee spamming Sand Attack, but Hyperion finally ends this fight with a Vine Whip to the face. With Gary defeated again, it was time to rub the captain's back and get HMO1. And with that, it's time to leave the SSN and watch it sink to the bottom of the ocean.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
Now it was time to take on Lieutenant Surge. Now in Yellow, Surge only has one Pokemon, and my Charmeleon's Dig almost one-bangs it. Prometheus takes a Mega Punch to the face and then begins tunneling again. The second Dig connects and I have the Thunder Badge. As soon as we head out of Emilian's gym, we speak to Officer Jenny to get our Squirtle, which we named Pandora. Like Bulbasaur, Ash doesn't evolve his Squirtle in anime, so I will not be evolving mine either. Now that we have cut, it's time to go to everyone's favourite part of Kanto, Rock Tunnel. After googling a map for Rock Tunnel and making our way to Lavender Town, we can make the short journey over to Celadon City to take on Erika. Erika being a grass type gym leader means that it's an ideal job for Prometheus. Tangela gets burned on the first Ember and misses their bind attack. 2 more Embers make easy work of Tangela. Up next is Weeping Bell, who goes down in 3 Embers, but does significant damage to Prometheus. Erika's final Pokemon is Gloom, and after 2 Embers from Prometheus, Gloom is very weak. Even though I outspeed, I take no risk and switch to Atlas, who finishes off Gloom with 1 wing attack. That's Erika defeated, and we get the 4th badge, the Rainbow Badge. Then, after going for a spin in Team Rocket's base in Game Corner, and sweeping aside Jesse and James again, it was time to take on Giovanni. Giovanni's first Pokemon is Onix, which Hyperion takes down easily with his Leaf Blower. Rhyhorn also follows suit, and then Persian, not being weak to grass, takes a stubborn second Razor Leaf to finish off. With the Sliph Scope in hand, it was time to head over to Lavender Town again, and to climb Pokemon Tower. Here we find Gary yet again, and yes, he gets another beatdown. At this point, we've seen Gary 4 times already, and I'm already sick of beating him. Once we climbed to the top of the tower and found out ghosts really do exist, we swiftly send Marowak back to the Shadow Realm.
I hear the Shadow Realm's lovely this time of year.
We then beat Jesse and James again, and then rescue Mr. Fuji, who gives us a Pokeflute. Now that we've got the Pokeflute, it's time to get everyone's favourite sleepy bear, Snorlax. When we finally woke Snorlax up from its nap, we capture it and name it Calypso. We also pick up the Super Rod on the same route, which allows us to find a Krabby back near Rock Tunnel. We name the Krabby Hattie and head off towards Saffron City. Once we got to Saffron City, I boxed Hyperion and Pandora and brought Hattie and Calypso to the party. Then, a few rare candies later, and Hattie has evolved into Kingler. And because the level cap has now jumped massively for the next 2 gyms, I took the opportunity to evolve 2 other members of my party. Atlas got its long-awaited evolution to a Pidgeot, and Prometheus became the epic Charizard. Now it was time to liberate Sliph Co like the hero I am. Funny thing, I never realised how much of this you could actually just skip. If you get the card key on floor 7 straight away, you can then fight Gary and Giovanni straight away from floor 3. I wish I knew this when I was 7 years old and playing the game for the first time, as it's such a time saver. But back to the action. Hattie learns Crab Hammer, one of the best moves in Gen 1 in my opinion, and Calypso just sweeps the rest of Gary's team. Right after defeating Gary, we talk to this lovely hostage who gives us a Lapras. That's another Pokemon to chalk off the Ash list. We named the Lapras Dione and sent it to our PC. Now I always forget about Jesse and James, but here they are once again, thankfully for the last time, as we send them blasting off again for the final time in this playthrough.
Looks like we're blasting off again!
Good riddance. Now that the trash has been taken out, it was time to take down their boss, Giovanni. Dig is more than enough to one-shot Nidorino. Persian puts up more of a fight, needing 1 dig and a Mega Punch to go down. Hattie takes down Rhyhorn with 1 Crab Hammer, and Nidoqueen also gets the 1 bang from the crab with a weapon.
Let me see what you have! No!
With Giovanni defeated, we grab the Master Ball and headed off to face our next gym. But we stop off for a little detour at the Safari Zone, where we grab the Surf HM and a cheeky Tauros to mark off another one of Ash's Pokemon. And no, I'm not catching 30 of these. It took me ages to catch this damn Tauros as well. Now on to Koga. Because Koga and Sarbina are both the same level cap of 50, I actually went into this battle a couple levels below the cap. So that way I didn't go over leveled for Sarbina. Luckily for us, Prometheus sweeps the first 3 Venonaps and 2 taps the Venom off. Koga gives us the Soul Badge, and it's time to head back over to Saffron City to give Sarbina the defeat she has foreseen. Sarbina starts by trying to get her Abra to flash us, but it fails. With no genders in Gen 1, Abra can't get done for indecent exposure, and Prometheus burns it to a crisp. Then Kadabra comes in and recovers the damage Flamethrower does to it. But with Kadabra switching to Scythe Wave, it gives me the opportunity to KO it with Flamethrowers. So out comes Sabrina's ace and top tier spoon collector, Alakazam. After taking a Flamethrower to the face and setting up a Reflect, a second Flamethrower crits, which takes down Alakazam before he steals my cutlery for my lunch. We've earned our 6th badge, the Marsh badge, and now we need to make the long trip across the ocean to Cinnabar Island to fight Blaine. But before I did that, I wanted to hunt down a few missing members from Ash's Pokemon, namely Mr. Mime, also known as Ash's dad. Now, the only way to get a Mr. Mime in Pokemon Yellow was to trade via an NPC. So off I went to Mount Moon to hunt for a Clefairy. We didn't nickname this one because it was going to be our NPC sacrifice, which also sadly means we won't be able to nickname our Mr. Mime either. Now that we had Miles, it was time to put him in the PC and head to Cinnabar Island and the Pokemon Mansion to find the secret key and a muck. After a little swim, we reached Cinnabar Island, healed up and headed towards the Pokemon Mansion. We found the secret key, and after about 30 plus minutes of looking for a muck, I wasted no time and caught the purple slime straight away. Yes, that is me using a Master Ball on a muck. We named muck Tarvos and then went to take down Blaine. Now Blaine's gym puzzle is a quiz which if you get the question right you don't need to battle the trainer. And I'm a big fan of gyms like this. It's just a shame that the questions are a bit too easy. Speaking of easy, Downey makes short work of Blaine's Ninetales with 2 surfs, Rapidash goes down in 1 surf, and Arcanine goes down in 2 surfs with the help of recoil damage. With Blaine defeated and the Volcano badge in our possession, that left one more gym standing in the way of the Pokemon League. So, off I go back to Viridian City to take down the mystery gym leader. I was shocked to see who it was. Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket as a gym leader? Who would have guessed? Giovanni's ready to be beaten by a 10-year-old once more. Downey's life flashes before his eyes as Dugtrio misses a Fisher, but Surf connects and takes down the 3-headed guy hiding in the ground. With Persian coming out second, I switched to Prometheus, who takes a slash to the face and burns the cat alive with its flamethrower. Nidoqueen is next, so I switch to Hattie, who eats a Thunder and lives to tell the tale. But Hattie's Crab Hammer one-hit KOs Nidoqueen, and I decide to risk it for a chocolate biscuit and Crab Hammer the Nidoking, who meets a similar fate to his queen. Rhydon, the last of Giovanni's Pokemon, also gets bonked by the hammer and goes down in 1. Hattie the MVP for this fight. With all 8 gym badges attained, it was time to make my way to the Pokemon League. But not before Gary wants another beating. Rhea takes down Sandslash with a few Mega Drains, Prometheus cooks some eggs for breakfast, Downey drowns the Dog Fox with Surf, and Titan summons the power of Thor on Cloyster, and Kadabra needs 2 Thunders to go down, leaving Jolteon. I make a mistake here and switched Prometheus straight into a Thunder, which almost proves fatal. I then immediately switched to Calypso to body slam the Jolteon into submission. With Gary defeated, we had one more goal before taking on Victory Road and the Pokemon League. On the way to Victory Road, I managed to find a Primeape, the final Pokemon we could catch in this run, meaning we've caught as many of Ash's Pokemon as possible. The only 2 Gen 1 Pokemon we couldn't get are Dragonite and Gengar that Ash use in Journeys. But as they don't spawn in the wild, there's no way we could catch them and add them to the team. We named the Primeape Mimus and made our way through Victory Road. Seeing as Primeape was the last Pokemon we caught on this run, it's time to reveal what the nickname theme was. All of the nicknames are based on moons in our solar system. More specifically, they are moons of Saturn. So if you got this right, gold star to you. Now, after a long journey, Ash has finally made it to the Pokemon League, the final challenge in this run. We healed up and prepped our team so we were ready for the tough fight ahead. Now, I spent ages trying to decide what level to send my Pokemon into the Elite Four at. I didn't want to hit the cap of each member, as I felt that would take the challenge out of it. I also didn't want to be too underleveled, as then when we got to the end of the Elite Four, we would struggle. So I decided I would level my team up to level 56, which was the cap for Lorelei anyway. And then hopefully it would leave us strong enough to face Gary at the end. So here is the final team. Pikachu, Charizard, Snorlax, Lapras, Butterfree and Kingler. One final cheer from Titan and we are ready to face the Elite Four. Up first, Lorelei, the Ice-type specialist. I lead with Titan and Lorelei sends out Dugong. Titan outspeeds and hits a Thunderbolt for just over half, and Dugong hits back with a Bubble Beam. A second Thunderbolt finishes it off, and out comes Cloyster. Titan then misses its Thunder and Cloyster hits back with a Spike Cannon to weaken Titan tremendously. But Titan hits the next Thunder to KO Cloyster. Lorelei's third Pokemon is a Slowbro, who's tanky enough to survive a direct Thunder. Lorelei uses a potion, but a critical Thunderbolt is enough to finish the bro off. Jinx then puts Titan to sleep, so I switch out to Calypso. Jinx decides to thrash about, but goes down to one Body Slam from the giant Snorlax. Lorelei's Ace Lapras outspeeds us and hits a Blizzard, which does decent damage. Lapras then misses the Hydro Pump, allowing Calypso to hit the Hyper Beam, and that seals the victory against the first Elite Four member. Up next for the Elite Four is Bruno. Now my tactic for Bruno is Crabhammer go brrr. Onix, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee and the second Onix all go down to one Crabhammer each. So out comes Bruno's ace, Machamp. Now we outspeed and Crabhammer doesn't one-tap, so we do take a little bit of damage from the Karate Chop. But a second Crabhammer makes light work of Bruno. MVP Hattie strikes again. 2 down, 2 more Elite Four members to go. Up next is Agatha, the Poison type specialist. Yes, I know, she's a Ghost type trainer, but she has more Poison Pokemon than Ghost. Prometheus is my Pokemon of choice for this fight, and as I'm faster, Prometheus digs underground and KOs the first Gengar. Golbat comes out next, and we crit with a Flamethrower to one-shot that as well. With Haunter out, we go back into digging holes and knock out the Haunter. Arbok is a little bit more tanky and survives the first dig. It manages to spit some acid at us, but goes down to a Flamethrower. Agatha's last Pokemon is another Gengar, and to my surprise we actually outspeed this despite being 4 levels lower. The dig connects but doesn't kill, and Gengar is able to confuse us. We hurt ourselves in confusion and Agatha uses a Super Potion. We hurt ourselves again and Gengar puts us to sleep. So we switch out to Dione, who takes a critical Psychic and then gets confused, but Dione fights through the confusion and lands a Surf, which doesn't quite do enough. Agatha heals once again, we land another Surf, and Gengar then misses the Confuse Ray as we are already confused, meaning one more Surf and we have beaten the third member of the Elite Four. The final member of the Elite Four is Lance. We lead with Titan as Lance sends out his Gyarados, which goes down to one Thunderbolt. As the first Dragonair comes out, we switch to Dione, who takes a Thunderbolt and survives. We follow up with an Ice Beam to KO the Dragonair. The second Dragonair makes a similar fate. Aerodactyl is next and outspeeds us, shooting a Hyper Beam which does a lot of damage, but Lapras hits the Hydro Pump and KOs the ancient dinosaur. With Dione low and knowing Dragonite will probably outspeed us, I switch to Rhea, who surprisingly survives the Thunder, but knowing I have another 3 Pokemon weak to Thunder, I decide to stay in and hope Dragonite misses. It doesn't, and we have our first death on the run.
Goodbye, Butterfree.
Using the free switch, I send out Calypso. Dragonite misses its Thunder and we land a Rock Slide. Dragonite misses again and we can do good damage with a Body Slam. In desperation, Dragonite launches a Hyper Beam, but Calypso tanks it and ends the fight with a final Body Slam. With Lance defeated, it's time for the champion, Gary. The man we've beaten a bunch of times on this run already, but this time it's different. There's a very significant level gap between the two of us. This won't be an easy battle. We start off strong with Hattie taking down Sandslash in one hit. But with Alakazam out next, we switch to Calypso. With the Spoon Collector using Recover, we get off lightly. It then uses Psybeam, which doesn't do too much to my relief, and Calypso then Body Slams it and almost gets the KO. We do paralyse though, so another Body Slam puts a stop to Alakazam. Exeggutor is up next, and I switch to Prometheus. We take the Barrage, which doesn't do much, and hit back with a Flamethrower. The eggs withstand the heat this time and land a critical stomp to weaken Prometheus a lot. Another Flamethrower puts down Exeggutor. Cloyster comes out, which means it's time for Titan to take centre stage. It takes a lot of damage from Ice Beam, but lands the Thunder. But somehow the strange Oyster survives and lands a Spike Cannon, which puts an end to the series mascot.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Traumatised by losing the mascot, I make a fatal error. I forgot what Gary's got coming up next and send out Calypso, who takes more damage before getting Gen 1 cheesed by Clamp. I hate those binding moves. To keep Calypso fighting fit, I swap to Hattie. We take the Spike Cannon and finished off the Oyster with Stomp. Ninetales comes out next and we are ready. Ninetales tail whips and gets crab hammered in return. The Dog Fox lives and confuses us. We hurt ourselves twice in confusion and Hattie goes down to that damage. Out comes Dione. Ninetales tries to catch us with that Gen 1 cheese and misses, allowing Dione to hit the surf and knock out the Dog Fox. Gary then sends out his last Pokemon, Jolteon. The final obstacle in this journey. It paralyses us with Thunder Wave, which allows us to get off one Body Slam. It doesn't do too much though. Jolteon then tries a Thunder and misses, so Dione can hit an Ice Beam. The next Thunder hits its mark and takes down Dione.
No. Wait.
So, out comes Calypso. Calypso gets hit with a Thunder Wave, but launches a Hyper Beam, which ends the battle and declares us champion. There we have it, Ash has done it. We have beaten Pokemon Yellow with the Pokemon available to Ash in the anime. Ash is finally the champion of the Indigo League. Now, I am surprised I was able to take down Gary in that final battle. Despite being significantly underleveled, we somehow pulled off the win. Now all that's left is to get my Pokemon listed in the Hall of Fame, with only 4 losses in the whole run, all of which came in the final 2 battles, and a total playtime of 9 hours 47 minutes. A lot of effort went into this run. But there you have it, you can win the Indigo League using Ash's Pokemon. I know I didn't stick to the moves available to Ash's Pokemon, but that is something I'm planning to bring on for the other generations. If you would like to see me attempt the Johto League using Ash's Pokemon, don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more Nuzlocke and Pokemon content. If I can get over 20 likes on this video, then I will get working on the Gen 2 team ASAP. I've had a lot of fun making this video and it's something I will keep making for the channel going forward. If you have any suggestions on how I can improve these videos going forward, please let me know. For now, I'm going to let Ash revel in his Kantai glory. I've been Pigeon, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.